All right. How This is going to be the solution to the assessment on the group by clause. And the first question was given to us, which says that we have two staff members with the staff IDs 1 and 2. We want to give a bonus to the staff member that handled the most payment. Most in terms of the number of payment processed, not the total dollars. Please take note of this, not total dollars amount. You're not trying to get the sum. We are trying to get, all right, the most payment. That means you'll be using count. And the question says, how many payments did each staff member handle and who gets the bonus? And we've been given a hint here that we should use the payment table. And also we should understand, as we said earlier, the difference between the count and the sum. Now we are first of all going to answer this first question, and we need to head over to our PG admin to answer that. It says that we are to use the payment table. So first of all, let us select the whole columns from our payment table. And if you execute this query, this is our table here. All right, we have the payment ID, customer ID, staff ID, and the rest. And the question says that how many payments did each staff member handle and who gets the bonus? So the person that gets the bonus is the staff ID with the most payment. We are going to apply our group by clause here. All right. So first of all, we have our staff ID, and our staff ID is going to be our categorical column. So let's select that out, staff ID. And also we are going to use the count function here, and we are applying it to the amount column. All right. And then we are grouping, recall that we are grouping by the staff ID. So let's use our staff ID here. We are grouping by our staff ID. Now, if you execute this query, group by to say, now if you happen to execute this query, this is what we are going to get. All right. We have the staff ID 1 and 2, and then we have the count for each of them. Now, the one who will be getting the bonus is going to be the one with the highest count. That is the staff ID with the highest count, which is staff ID number 2. Now, if we had a lot of staff ID here, such that to get the proper result, we may need to order this by the count. Remember that we said you can apply this here, including the aggregate function here. So we have to order this by the count. When you run this query, all right, order by the count of this. It is in ascending order, so you can use the descending order to get the highest count value to appear at the top here. So it therefore means that staff ID 2 gets the highest count. Now let's get to our question number 2. Our question number 2 says that the corporate HR is conducting a study on the relationship between replacement cost and a movie MPAA rating. All right, this is the rating. What is the average replacement cost per MPAA rating? You may need to expand the AVG, that's the average column, to view correct result. And we've been given a hint that we are to use the theme table. And we should also recall that the average returns back many significant digits. So we may need to stretch the column or use the round function to fix this issue. Now, it says that we are to use a theme table. Let's head over to the PG admin. And then we are going to select our whole column from the theme table. All right, now if you execute this query, we are basically going to get the table containing the whole information here, and we are to work with the replacement cost here with the rating. And in this case, our categorical column is going to be our rating, and then it says we are to get the average of the replacement cost, right? Replacement cost. That's the replacement cost from the theme table, and we are applying the group by clause to our rating. Okay. All right, so if you run this query, this is what you are going to get. Let's get back to the question to see what it says. It says, what is the average replacement cost per MPPA rating? Okay, so this is the answer to this solution, the answer to this problem now. We have the average for each of the ratings here. Now let's get over to the third question. Remember, you can also apply the round function as we said initially. So you can apply the round function to here, the average cost, by using ROUND, open and close parentheses. Right? Remember, you need to use a comma, then give it maybe to 3 significant figure, right, to get your answers. Now, the third question says, we are running a promotion to reward our top 5 customers with coupons. What are the customer IDs of the top 5 customers by total spend? We should take note of this. We are talking about the total spent in this case. That is the summation, not the count. So we should use the payments table. And then we have been asked to use order by clause. And also recall you can order by the result of the aggregate function. You may also need to use the limit keyword to view just the top 5. Now we have to give award customers give reward to our top 5 customers with coupon ID by total spend. Now let's get to our PG admin and we have to use the payments table. Now let's select from payments table, executing the query, and then it says the customer ID. Remember, we are going to be using the customer ID here. We are going to use the customer ID with the amount, right? And in this case, we are using the summation, not the count now, the summation. And then we are grouping by the customer ID, right? If you run this query, this is basically what you are going to get. But the question says, what are the customer IDs of the top 5 customers by total spend? So we will be ordering this by the total spend of these customers. Now, if we get over to this, we need to order by the summation of the amount. Okay. And since we have been asked to filter out just the top, we are going to be using this. All right. So it's going in the descending order. And then we've been asked also to limit it to the top 5. And then we can run our query. So if you execute your query, these are the top 5, the customer IDs with the top 5 customers by total spend. So these are the solutions to our questions, and you can as well copy down. Example, when you are done, you can download this data from this button here. Okay. By clicking on here, it's going to capture the output here, the data output, and export it to CSV. All right. So thank you so much for joining me once again. I'll be seeing you in subsequent